Hey backpackers, this is Juan from Juan Backpacks. I'm here today to do a first look at the Xero shoes Terraflex Trail Runners. I did the whole John Muir Trail in July in Xero drop shoes. I love Xero drop shoes. But I also love barefoot or ground feel shoes, as some people call them. They're really a minimalist style of shoe that gives you minimal padding, really no padding, and just a minimal sole so you can feel the ground and have that zero drop, almost barefoot experience. And so I really like those shoes. I actually have dress shoes like that. Almost all my shoes are ground feel, zero drop types of shoes. And so I really wanted to have that in my trail running shoes, in my backpacking shoes. So when I saw that Xero shoes did make something like this, I jumped on their website, took a quick look at them, and right away I said, hey, I got to try these Terraflex shoes. And so I ordered a pair. These are, I'm not going to do a full review here because I've worn them around town so far. I've worn them to work numerous times. I've used them for some minimal road running even, and some minimal trail running, but I haven't really backpacked in them with weight on my back like I normally would. So until I do that, I really don't want to do a full review of these shoes. I'm actually hoping to take these on the High Sierra Trail with me, but I'm going to be doing some backpacking trips in March and in April. And so after that time, I'll probably do a full review. So let's take a look at some of the features, some of my maybe initial impressions about the shoe that kind of drew me to this particular shoe. So the first thing is that it's got a really thin sole. I think the total between the lug, from the top, bottom of the lugs through to the very minimal, there's like an insole in here, but it's really minimal. I think it's 6.5 millimeters total of sole, which is pretty darn thin. It's got, starting on the bottom, it's got chevron lugs. I think those lugs are 4 millimeters. Yeah, they're 4 millimeter lugs. So it's got plenty of bite. I've used these actually to shovel snow and walk in the snow and so forth, because it's been snowing here in Pennsylvania. So the lugs are really nice. They seem to do the job as well as anything in the snow, slush, and a little bit of mud that I've had them in. And so I like the soles. I think they work really well. The soles are very flexible, hence the ground feel and the zero, drop and so forth. So look at that sole, it just flexes right up. So it really moves with your foot nicely. It's got a really wide toe box, and that's the idea with minimalist shoes, to give your toe, your feet room to spread out like they would if you were walking barefoot. And so again, I really appreciate the wide toe box, and definitely the toe box here is really wide. The other thing that I appreciate about this shoe, and I'm trying with this shoe, is the material it's made out of and how it drains. And so there's some kind of a fabric / mesh here. You can see kind of the mesh patterns on the shoe, and it drains super quick. It doesn't hold water, like it's not like spongy where it would hold water. So this shoe drains out really fast. It's got a lot of protection around the sides though, and on the toe. You can see the toe protection here for hiking and trail running. And on the sides here, it's got some solid materials on the sides, and that probably adds some lateral stability to it. So I really like that about the shoe. It definitely drains well. I used this to shovel snow, and there were puddles of water that pulled up from some melting snow, and I purposely just stood in the puddles while I was working just to see what would happen. And when I stepped out of that and started to walk, I was wearing waterproof socks with them. And when I started to walk around, the water was gone. There was no like squishing sounds or anything like that. And so I was really happy about that, I can tell. And by the time I got back in the house and I took them off, there wasn't any water draining out of them. I mean, it wasn't like they were sopping wet. It was basically, the shoes were damp. They were wet, but they were kind of damp. So there was no excess water. And I just set them out, and they dried. By the next morning when I woke up, they were perfectly dry. So moving to the upper here, you can see these patterns, these straps here. These are straps that when you tighten up the laces, those straps actually tighten, wrapped around your foot. They start to tighten up around your foot. So you can get a lot of comfort and a lot of good fit. so that you're not jamming your foot up in the toe box all the time by, you know, tightening up or even loosening up your laces here to be able to tighten those straps and keep your foot in place from sliding up on the shoe and banging your toes. And that's a big deal when you're doing lots of passes, when you're backpacking. A lot of hikers experience actually, you know, toenail loss because their foot jamming up in the toe box all the time, the top of the toe box. And so I feel like that's helped a lot. And I feel like it kind of cradles my foot in the shoe. And I really like that feel without being real restricted, because I can really control it by how tightly I lace it, you know, pull the laces and so forth. So if I want it looser, I just make it looser and then tie the shoe with a little bit looser. So it really is nicely done. I really enjoy that strapping system that they actually have built into all their shoes. The inside of the shoe is made so you could wear it without socks. So it's very comfortable. There's no like raised stitching. Everything's like very low profile. So there's no bumps in here. You know, if you pull out the insert, that does come with, I think, a 2mm insert, which I pulled out of it right away because I wanted as much ground feel as I could get. I wanted to be as low to the ground as it could be. So it just basically took 2mm off the height of the shoe. And it's very, very comfortable up in here. Again, it's not super thick and it's not super squishy, but that also adds to how resilient it is when you get it wet and how it doesn't hold water. And so really comfortable in here, really smooth. There's no raised things to irritate your foot or cause, you know, that I would think would cause, you know, blistering or anything like that, rubbing in the bottom of your foot. So that's been fantastic with this shoe. So that's the Xero shoe, Terraflex Trail Runner. I'm really looking forward to using this shoe on trail this year. And when I use it for a couple more months and get some miles on them, I will let you know a little bit about my experience, how things went, and kind of do another video that's more detailed. So until next time, folks, get out there and do some backpacking, do some trail running, I guess, some hiking, and see some cool stuff. I'll see you guys and gals on the next video.